are back and we are better than ever. So we actually in this video want to speak about what we have been doing from the time that we weren't posting on here. And what we've been doing is building in public and actually practically reinventing our lives.
It was so refreshing to have that moment because every time we would come and create a YouTube video, I was personally recently feeling that it was feeling too forced. So the break was not necessarily a writer's block or video block. It was actually us building our second business, which is Gabriella Noki
Denim, fashion and artwork.
Hence the outfits we are wearing today are designed by Gabriella Noki Denim. And we would love for you to just hear us out and hear what we've been up to, because in, let's say, 2 to 3 months, so basically the first quarter of 2025, we have been super busy reinventing ourselves. I'm actually so excited to share with you what's been taking place.
Yes, and what we've learned so that you too can also implement these steps that we've taken and actually see your life change for the best, because that's what we're here. This is what it's about. We're not just making videos for fun. We actually want to change our lives and be the best versions of ourselves. So what actually the first thing that we did in the past 2 months was going to a pop-up for G&D fashion and artwork. And upon the whole experience, after reflecting, and we actually even made a video about it on our other channel, so you can go watch it,
Subscribe.
Yes. Is that we picked up a few things, and one of them being potential collaboration. Someone approached us about it and they wanted to do business with us, but I really see how much we've grown, because in the past we would have immediately wanted to be like, yes, let's do it. Let's do the business, just because it's like we're doing something for the sake of doing something. And that shouldn't be the case. When you want to build a business and you want it to be successful, you need to think about these things strategically and be wise about it, because not every person that wants to do business with you and present an opportunity to you is for you. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's meant for you. The universe will always give you options.
And also, when we were talking about the collaboration in that YouTube video, we were explaining, for example, they would use words as in I instead of we and us. But in this Reinvention Diaries video, I'd like us to really focus in on the fact that those days that we were building that business in the early stages, we were so focused on getting the product out there, marketing, because obviously if someone doesn't know you or your product, they're not going to be able to buy what they don't know. So the example that we shared not only helped us really reflect that this was actually going to be a raw deal, but it made me realize that I myself as an individual have so much to offer. This is why these people want to come and collaborate with us. It showed me that when we work together, we're able to produce greater things than when we work individually. It also showed me that healing your inner child and trying to find out why it is that you do what you do. It made me see that this is actually blocking my blessing. This was not something that I knew I battled with. For example, not knowing that I'm enough. Always allowing people to share their opinion and give their 2 cents where it's not freaking needed. Someone told me that they want to donate to me. She went like this, I'm going to donate to you. And I was like, what do you mean? In my head, I was like, okay.
I heard the conversation because they were speaking in the front, and I was just sitting there at the back and I was listening, and I was really thinking, like, is this lady for real?
And this was not even the collaboration person who wanted to collaborate with us. Just that's the thing. Like Jamal was saying, pay attention to the opportunities. The universe will give you so many things, but it's like, which one is actually the one that you're supposed to choose? Then I listened to her and she continues to say, I'm going to donate to you satin ties. And I'm thinking, lady, our whole brand is literally denim. What do you mean satin ties? Like, what? And then that was when I really realized, because everyone was complimenting the work, but then you had like about 4 people saying, what if you actually incorporate like this material? Then you can do this. And I'm thinking, shut up. You're not the artist. Are you here paying the bill to be at this pop-up? No. So all of this stuff, it was definitely an indication of like, what's happening? Why am I always having such people talk to me, eventually then saying I need to do this, this and that? And that was obviously coming from a place of feeling inadequate, not knowing that we actually can do this.
Yes, and we're enough. And the things that the world would deem as, oh, you're lacking in this, oh, it's because of this. That's not true. Your universe and your world is a reflection of whatever you believe is true. So whatever you think is meant for you and your standards and what you think you deserve in life, it will be that way. So it's so good that we realized, and we also took it a step back and thought about how we are inwardly, because it's all about us.
And that brings me on to the fact that when we started this G&D, framing was something that was never existent. I had artworks that were not framed. The first pop-up, as you can see right here in this clip, we were real rookies, starting off humbly, beginning, excited, but nervous at the same time. And personally, if I had known that I needed to frame my artwork before doing a pop-up, maybe I would never have done this pop-up. We would probably, Jemima, not have even paid an entrance fee to exhibit, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, because stock. I also want you to tell them that through the process of getting our artwork framed, how it started, why you decided to get your artwork framed, what happened, let them know.
God told me I need to frame my artwork because during the 2-day event of the pop-up, we hadn't sold anything. And that led to me questioning whether maybe not having the artworks framed played a role, because obviously when someone buys an artwork, you would want to hang it immediately. And I thought now the whole process of going to find framers and consult, it's just a long process for the people. And then they're already buying a product, which is a couple of $1,000. So I knew that there's something here that needs to be done. But again, that was going to cost money before having made any money. And I wasn't so sure how Jemima, my business partner, would feel because I'd already invested quite a bit into this business.
What was your mindset? Like, what conversation did you have with yourself? Actually then telling yourself you're going to do this, you're going to invest in your business and actually get your artwork framed.
It was God. He told me that I need to take a step of faith and frame my artworks that were unframed. It's also a matter of showing him that you're serious about what you're doing, because otherwise, don't do it. See, I'm not here doing this for fun. Neither am I doing this to be important. I'm doing this because I know I'm supposed to be doing this. And it was something that it was fully by faith, knowing that God has given us this ability to create wealth. I was naturally good at it, so good at it. And I wasn't so sure, but I knew God said, you need to frame your artwork. So we got serious, and then I said, you know what? Let me go and get this quote. And I got the quote. I was so fortunate to have gotten that deal, framed the artwork, went and did a second pop-up, didn't get the results we would have wanted. But then instead, God said, no, you're not actually going to do that. Yeah. Now, like flip, like pop-ups in general, the Reinvention Diaries has really brought me to the point of being authentic and sharing with you the ups and the downs, but the prosperity and then the lack, and then it's the highs and the lows. It's really just been one thing where I know that we are learning on this journey. So every time I might do something, I just know in my heart that, wow, God is making me do bold moves, make us do bold moves. But the thing is, there would be some times when I feel like if this is worth it.
Yeah, and looking back at the lessons that we've learned, for me, what really stood out is the whole thing of actually participating in what you want to do, to actually live the life, because you're not going to learn these lessons from just sitting at home on the couch. So
that's so true.
Yeah. So actually, I see now that God wanted us to be there and physically experience all that we experience, because it's not just about the sale in business. There's so much more to a business than just selling your product. And that's really important to remember and to even realize, because we shouldn't always just be driven by money. There's so much more to life than that. And the journey is what is actually important. It's the journey, not so much the destination. And I'm sure a lot of you can also relate to that, or you'll realize eventually.
Yeah, because 2 to 3 months ago, when we were setting up this Christmas tree, and then we did the video about, creating a vision board based on the self concept and actually being, we put that to test. We were being our higher self. We were going through a lot. Sometimes we were physically tired, but at least we were being what we said we wanted to be. In the process, it's gotten us to this point where, again, we have other ideas. We have more skills and knowledge that we can share with you. Something that I think Jemima and I can both agree on is that when you actually say what you're going to do, but then you also do it, it really gives you that confidence boost. We felt super boss having accomplished every single thing that we were doing for Gabrielle and I.
Yeah.
We had planned, that we would do a pop-up, we would frame the artworks, we would do a campaign, we would launch our fall range. And you know what? We've just been like, done. And every single thing that we wanted to do, it led to something greater. It's not just like, yeah, we've ticked it off. Now we know what's next.
Yes.
If you're just going to sit there and look at so-and-so, watch Gabriella Naki and Jemima Naki reinvent their lives, but you aren't yourself participating or taking action to also do the same, if not better, it's not going to give you the results you desire. And I know everyone says this, but it's really the truth. You get a high, or I get a high, whenever I've done what I said I was going to do. That's actually one of the reasons what we do is actually we post, right? We only post when we've completed the task.
Yes.
Because it's scientifically proven that when you actually say what you're going to do, it creates a chemical reaction in your mind for your body to have lived through that accomplishment already, that it decreases your chances of accomplishing your goal. That's why they always say keep quiet. Don't speak too much. Don't share everything before you've done anything. So yeah, this Reinvention Diaries video, I think it was something that it needed to have taken place the way it did.
It definitely did. And I want to encourage you to keep on going, to not stop bettering yourself, bettering your life, making sure that you can be the best you that you can possibly be, because I firmly believe that is a part of the meaning of life, is to just be the best you, because if you're not working towards that, then what's the point? There's so much to accomplish here on this earth. So keep on going. Don't listen to whoever is saying negative things about your life or your situation, because at the end of the day, it's your life. It's not theirs. So live yours to the fullest and be intentional about it. So during the time period of the 2 months where we weren't posting on this channel, personally, I was still watching my personal development videos and doing my inner work. And one of the videos I came across was someone speaking about basically you taking action and you being in charge of your life and how much power that we actually have. And it really dawned on me, and God was also speaking to me about it and just reinstilling that belief that I'm lacking nothing, that I have everything that I need, and that I actually can accomplish everything that I want to accomplish in this world. And it really uplifted my spirit, and it actually gave me that push to actually think about this campaign that we just launched and to plan it and actually put it into action. And I'm so glad that all of that took place. But as you see, it stemmed from personal development. It stemmed from that. That's what's going to help you push through life and be who you want to be. So we started off before that. We actually started off and we made a mood board about how we want Gabrielle Naki denim fashion specifically to be the new style we want to take on, and that is elegance. So we got the images, you see, we kept the vision before our eyes. It was constantly before our eyes, and we were able to then know what we need to do, what not to do, and to stick to that.
And before the mood board, I had no inspiration. I had the actual jackets made and they were hanging here in my closet, but I didn't know how I wanted them to be designed to extend, that G&D touch. But as soon as we made that mood board, that's when everything just fell in place. I was able to have the inspiration. This is what I knew. I needed to up my game in terms of designing now for a higher self, which is us now. And from there, I went to Cape Town and I was able to attend Cape Town Art Fair and work Cape Town Art Fair. But this is where the synchronicities and the full circle moment came in. This is where I'm really thinking, wow, God, reinventing yourself and being who you say we are is so fulfilling. When I arrived in Cape Town, I was a bit nervous in terms of I hadn't been there for almost more than a year.
Yeah.
And the time that I did go was something so brief. I didn't even spend the whole day there. I literally had a plane. I arrived there and I went back onto the plane. You've heard the story of when there was a guy who was wondering whether the secret was actually, legit, or was it just, airy fairy. Anyway, going back to Cape Town, I said to myself, I am going to make sure that I go to the beach because I have been craving the ocean, the smell, and the sand, just putting my feet in the sand. I made sure that I set time for myself to enjoy the moment because I was home. And this was something that I even video called Jemima, and I was asking her whether I should go today. And she asked me, well, when else would you go? Because aren't you working the following days? You might just get tired. And I thought, you know what, let me just Uber there. When I got to the beach, I was wearing this outfit, as you can see on the screen. And this is the slow burn ruffled denim jacket.
Fuego.
This jacket is the product of what it means to keep the vision before your eyes and to realize who your higher self is. And that's what it produced. And I was feeling super elegant. I felt classy, feminine, lovely, like a lady who has wealth. Amen. I went to the beach in that outfit, enjoyed my time, watched the sunset. I literally asked God for wisdom and guidance on some personal things. And I made sure that I also documented this moment because this was a moment that I had gone somewhere by myself for the first time in Cape Town, having been sober. It actually sounds so crazy because I was not necessarily an alcoholic where I had to be admitted, but thank God that I used to drink quite often. Every single day, I was guaranteed to drink either a glass of wine or cider.
Yeah.
And then the fact that I was going to Cape Town where there are clubs and bars and restaurants that I could just get wine, I never had that urge because also now it's been more than 2 years that my sister and I, we haven't drank alcohol and we're not going to continue drinking it.
It's been more than 3 even.
Has been more than
Or
3.
4. Yeah.
Wow, you see? And we look fresh, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
My point being, after spending and reflecting whilst being alone on that Clifton beach, watching the sunset, being super grateful because I had asked God for this moment and it manifested. As I booked my Uber to go back to where we were living, the Uber driver asked me whether I was alone. And I didn't think much about it. I answered yes. In my head, I'm like, you don't see people around you. What kind of question is this? You know? And then I get into the car and he's saying, wow. And then asked me, are you from Cape Town? Well, no, he asked me, where are you from? And I'm thinking the irony is because I'm actually from here.
Yeah.
I'm from Cape Town. This is my home. And I said, Cape Town. He's like, are you serious? And I said, yes. Like, really, I am. And then he said, wow, I'm surprised. And I thought, why? Then I actually asked him, how come? And he mentioned that I'm my own individual. He said, you yourself going to the beach alone, you don't have people accompanying you, and yet you just look so calm and like you enjoyed yourself is rare because Cape Townians don't usually do this. They're always somehow trying to look like each other, or you can tell that they are Cape Townian. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so true because that's how I used to be. That was how my life was. I only knew Cape Town, and having left to find who I was at my core and having a complete stranger tell me this, that was when I said, yo, it was so freaking worth it. Sometimes, you need to just get out of your hometown and experience life. Even if it's just another city, maybe 2-hour flight away. Get out of your hometown, reinvent yourself, because it could be something that is stopping you from finally breaking through into the person you are supposed to be.
That's why fitting in can be a trap.
Full on, it's a trap.
It's not like, who said you meant to fit in? No, seriously, think about it. Who told you you're supposed to fit in? You got to sometimes take a step back and process and analyze. And I think we even mentioned this in one of our videos about who you're letting dictate your life. Are you letting society control you, that you just become just another number in this world? Or are you actually staying true to who you are and being authentic? Because that is what the world needs. The world doesn't need another so-and-so, another lookalike like this person. They need you, specifically who you are. So don't try to fit in. And it can be lonely, but it's worth it. And also the universe will respond to that because the universe will recognize who you are, not who you're trying to be, who you are. There's a difference and there's purpose in that.
Mama, do you remember when I came back from Cape Town, how I was so tired?
Yeah.
I had literally never worked that hard in my life.
She was toiling, actually. She wasn't working
I was so sore. My body was physically sore. And it was not by my own desire to have worked that hard. I'm grateful because I'm part of something that's producing income and I've been exposed to more inspiration, also learning. But that's when also I told God, you know what? This is not my life. I refuse to continue in this place. And then I also told him after our pop-up that I'm done with toiling and struggling, because if that wasn't enough, when I came back, I worked a pop-up for the company that I'm working with currently. Then after that, we worked our own business pop-up. I was literally I couldn't do more. I was so tired, but this was something that I knew needed to be done in order for me to get me to this point. So my point is, check the synchronicities. You think, oh yes, let's do this, but oh right, what is God telling you? What signs are you seeing? I saw the signs and I said, you know what, these are 2 days in a row, 2 rather events in a row that I'm feeling that I'm overworking myself. This is not right. And it's not like I was feeling happy.
Yeah.
You know, there's something where people can work hard and they feel so happy like it was worth it. I felt drained. So everything you do, is it pulling you closer to your goal or is it setting you backwards? These are the questions we need to actually understand and answer ourselves.
Yeah, that's why another question is also, and a reason why it's important, why we're also saying to get to know who you are as a person, is because you need to know what you want in this life, who you want to be, what things you want to accomplish, whose life you want to improve, because you can. Because when the synchronicities pop up, you'll also know which ones you're meant to follow, which ones are for you, to lead you to your purpose, to who you're meant to be, and what you're meant to do in this life so that it's successful.
With 3 quarters left of 2025, it's made me realize how time has gone so quickly.
I was about to say, just hearing that, I'm like, whoa. It felt like we just started 2025 yesterday.
Right? But no, we're in the second quarter of 2025. And halfway, by the time we're recording this video, it's the 14th of April, 2025. So basically tomorrow's halfway of April. And it's the whole thing of asking yourself whether you're actually where you want to be at this stage in time. It calls for holding each other accountable. If you're part of people who are just complaining, asking God for help on how they change their lives, let's face it, God can only work when we work. If you aren't even trying because you feel like you're going to fail anyway, and I'm speaking from experience, there are certain things that I felt I need to do this because I would be craving certain content on YouTube. I'm like, I just wish there would be someone who can just share how they're building their business from scratch, not just share about how they built it when they were in the basement of their parents' home. It's like, okay, I wish you had videos where you were in the basement building and nothing was going right, couldn't afford maybe your rent, etc. And there's certain things that I'm thinking, I don't find this, but then I hear God saying, you, and I'm like, it feels like, your ego just wants to be like, there's no way you can show yourself living, like you're going through rough times, or living where you feel like you're not making it happen, because what is so and so going to think? And that's when you really need to trust God and listen to that small, still voice, your intuition on what you need to do. Maybe for you, it's actually changing careers. Maybe for you, it's actually getting into network marketing. Maybe you actually need to design a new, product. You just need to know that you only live once. I know that's cliche like YOLO, but really, that's one of the mentors that I have. He does always say, you're only living this life once. Why not just live it and know that you have really lived life? You have done the best you can do. You have gone out, you have served, you've become the wealthiest you can be. Every time he says this, I'm thinking, flip, man, you're so freaking right.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on what you said. That's how I was saying it's important to also know your purpose and what you're meant to do in this life. Because you see here, God told you, you must be the representation. You must do that. And that is what we're actually doing. Part of this video, why we're making these videos. It's part of our purpose. We're not here hoarding information. We know that we're actually supposed to give this out to you freely as well, because we're not just benefiting. You must also benefit.
And Jemima, you know how I always longed for YouTubers from that time, even influencers that are considered very popular, to genuinely give the information without any syrup on top.
Just to be real.
Be real and share what is going to help us, also grow. And starting a business can be messy. I'm not going to say it's really nice. It's not nice, actually, Jemima. It's not nice. I'm actually,
so funny.
actually now I'm thinking about it, like, it's not been nice.
Yeah, we want to fast forward to the part where the business is working for us. We don't even need to do anything. We just check, okay, move on.
It's like, it's only so much money. You could be out here going to a restaurant.
Modeling for your own campaign.
And it's like you're getting hot.
Yeah.
Have to freaking deal with security who says I can't do this. You've got jealous people who go rats. And you just feel like saying, why are you even concerned about my life? I'm busy doing a campaign for my business. You could do the same. But then they go and they rat. But that's coming up in the next video on Gabrielle Denim YouTube channel.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, that story is also something else. But literally, the whole thing of work-life balance, I always questioned whether it's a thing. Can you really have work-life balance? I'm so grateful that I don't have kids right now. I know, literally, I've always been like thinking, maybe I'm having kids really late. And it's the truth that perhaps, maybe I am. But at the end of the day, no. Because there's a reason why I don't have kids now. I can't be out here raising children, building a business, and then working a job, and then building another second business, because that's also then my purpose. You can't do all these things. So know where you are and do what you can with the time you do have. Don't look at the time you don't have.
And don't compare your life to someone else's, because just as the examples Gabriella gave you, maybe you can do that because that's your purpose.
Yeah, actually.
So you see, so it's important to know who you are and what's meant for you.
And if you're busy struggling and thinking, I don't have a work-life balance, you know what? I had someone who was quite close to me tell me, just push for the next 3 years, it will be worth it. And I'll never forget what she said, because it made me realize that there are seasons in your life where you're not going to necessarily have a work-life balance. And that's fine. The sooner you actually agree and realize that, I guess this is actually it. And I'm grateful that I don't have to think about family, as in kids and all of that. So essentially what I'm saying is that in every season, be grateful for where you are, because it's not going to last forever.
Yes, and what I want to add on that is the whole thing of expectations, where you think you're meant to be in life at a certain time, at a certain age, in a certain position. We may all have those expectations, and it's actually good, don't get me wrong. But what I want to say is that if it doesn't turn out the way you expected it to be, don't dwell on that, because at the end of the day, I heard someone say, or I read a quote that said, so what if it takes 1 year? So what if it takes 2 years? You're still going to live those 2 years anyway.
That is so true. I was listening. I was
Did you hear that?
No, I was thinking about that today.
Wow.
Before recording this video, Jemima.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, literally. I was remembering how Zig Ziglar was telling people during his seminars, go and get that degree. Who cares that you're going to school when you're already in your 40s? That time is going to pass anyway. And I was just thinking about those times where it's like, flip, we created YouTube channel after YouTube channel, Instagram page after Instagram page, and we just quit them because we thought there was nothing working. And I was just thinking, what if I had actually just kept that one channel and just continued? And that time would have passed anyway. So then I thought, this time, you know what, let's just continue, because the time will pass anyway. Yeah. So you might as well just do it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I feel so happy that we came on here having brought to you results. We're not just yapping, sharing. Oh, you need to do A, B, and then you're going to get C. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. No, I actually wanted this to be genuine, because that's who we are. Yeah. Okay.